and welcome back. Okay, what's all this about? Well, I think it's quite obvious really. I need to take a step back from the project for just a minute to allow myself to get back into the practice of fabricating and being creative. I've got this amazing twisted steel that we made last weekend. That was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that, and I've got to put it to good use, along with the old motorcycle parts. I've got the sprockets, I've got the old discs, the old motorcycle chain, all from the fire build, and this curry dish from the local shop. So with all these parts, I'm going to make a cool helmet stand today, and then after that some other cool stuff as well, with the purpose of it being to get myself back into the practice of welding, fabricating, designing and making cool stuff, so that hopefully I'm a little bit better prepared and set up to get into the tailpiece that I'm promising myself, and hopefully we'll be able to put it off. So without any more chit chat, let's get stuck in. Okay, by way of a quick explanation, a couple of things. Firstly, the last few videos, I've just bashed through them in time lapse, and a few of you have criticised that, so I want to apologise if that upset you, if you felt that that was shortchanging you in any way. Thank you for being considerate enough to want something special from us. I mean, that's in some ways a criticism that you're not giving us what we want, etc. is a compliment. It shows that you care, and it shows that you enjoy what we do, because previously I've always done how-to stuff, I've shown you how to do it, so I don't want to depart from that. It was just that I wanted to bash through those videos and get to this point, and that's not because I'm impatient, it's just because I felt that you'd also seen it all before. Brake caliper rebuilds, how many of those have we done? Chain and sprockets, don't count them, etc. But things like the swing arm bushes, I think we covered that properly. The painting, it is boring watching paint dry, I think it's a cliche, so we just got that done as quick as I could, and I've got to this point. It was also a case of answering all the other criticisms, conversely over here, that were saying, it's going on too long, for goodness sake, get on with it. So I thought I'd try and balance it, bash through those jobs and get it done. So hopefully that explains why the last half a dozen videos have been time-lapse. It hasn't been a change or a depart from what we do. It's just been a way to bash forward to get to this point. A little bit of a fast forward on the project and in life to get here where I was excited to be, and I am. So today, curry dish. I want to explain this before I get started. Why on earth am I using a curry dish? Well, I think it might be obvious to those of you already. I'm going to bring this over close and show you. I'll just come over and lean on that. Right, me and Penny recently were shopping, out just shopping, and we were in a homeware store, the kind of stores that sell pots and pans and plates and knives and forks, kitchenware, that sort of thing, and we spotted these. A little curry dish. Really cool. Now it's 3mm thick stainless steel, 3mm thick, proper beef. Really, like, it ain't tinny, it's like really solid and all polished and all yummy, and obviously kitchen standard steel. Love it, even the little handles. So I thought that would make a great lining for a helmet stand, because that's what I'm going to make today, a crash helmet stand to put a lid on. And I thought that was awesome, because if you think about it, the inside soft lining of your crash helmet, you want something that kind of shape for it to sit on, and therefore that to me seemed obvious. I just saw them sat there and I thought, what a great way like that. I was looking at soup ladles, you know, like the bowl of a soup ladle. I thought that would work, but they were all kind of thin tin, and they had, I don't know, they just didn't work. With these, because this 3mm thick, absolutely superb. They were about £8 each, quite expensive for stuff that's just going to be welded, but they don't need really any modification. There'll be, obviously the little handles will have to come off, and the little holes that are left, I'll weld those up and then polish them off, and hopefully they'll be awesome and protect the soft lining. You've got a £300 or £400 crash helmet. You don't want to, I've seen things like snooker balls put on the top to stand a lid on. I wouldn't stand my lid on that, because there's a soft polystyrene lining inside your helmet, and over time plonking it on, that's going to make dents up inside the crash helmet lining, and that's not a safe thing to do. That lining should never be compressed in any way, because then its ability to protect you in an accident is impeded, so that mustn't happen. You must protect the inside of your lid, and also that, to me, it's the right sort of shape to go up through the entrance in the lid, say full face, and not at the same time push against it, you know, but still give a nice smooth curve. So that's what that's about. That's why I'm using a curry dish. I thought if I shared that with you, you might do a similar thing yourself. Great way to do it. Anyway, enough chat. Let's get bending some steel, and let's drag the cobwebs off the welder. Right, the first job that I want to do is take the centre out of this disc. I don't really want the centre in there for what I'm doing. I want the outer rim of the disc. So I'm going to take all the bobbins out, and then remove that centerpiece. The centerpiece itself is aluminium as well, and I might be able to do something else with that in the future. It's got all the bolt holes. Again, I'll keep all this because it's all materials, but first job, let's get the disc apart. All right, give you a look-see. That's the first thing, that's the base. Now if you're wondering, if anyone's going to ask if you're going to do this yourself, wondering why I bother with a wire disc, I've used that, which is one of those metal polishing discs. That's a medium grade. Now they're about £5 and they don't last forever. So when this was, before I started, this had paint on the inside there, plus old corrosion and brake dust and all sorts of mess. So it's far better to use a wire wheel to get all that off first before you resort to this. So if you just go straight to that, you'll contaminate that to death in no time at all. Once that gets loaded up with paint and rust and stuff, they're not for that. They're not for that purpose. There are other discs for that purpose. If you use it for one of these, you'll ruin it quickly and trash it, and then you haven't got it to use. Whereas that's barely even used. All it's done is, what I wanted to do is put this kind of brushed metal patina on it, which looks quite nice. And it's all clean now as well. Much nicer. Right, let's go on a bit. so far so good. Now, that's the obvious way, I suppose, but I just thought of a change I could make to the original plan, just inventing it as I go. I'm going to do it that way up. I quite like that. Just do it like that, like it's almost like a hub. So it looks like a wheel hub. It's quite tricky. So put it like that, and then the helmet in there. But it needs to sit up quite a bit because I'm going to use the chain for this, and the chain, three lengths of the chain want to be seen, they want to be visible, so I think we need a good, have a look. Yeah, it's 18 inches off the bottom. So 3 pieces, 18 inches long. Okay, I reckon at this point I'm about probably a third, maybe halfway through. Just looking at the time, it's 9:30 this morning, 1:30 now, and I'm just at this stage still. Just got the base made. There's a lot of work still needs to be done to that with regard to discs and polishing and getting it looking nice. This is a decorative piece, it can't just be rough and ready. I like it that way, that's the way I've done it. It could be like that, I guess. You could then bring it off the top, but it looks a bit like a wedding cake then. Don't really like that, sort of like a trophy, you know. I think that's far nicer. Do it that way, it's like a wheel hub. It's quite smart. And I'm going to bring the legs from down inside the hole, so that hopefully that'll look quite smart. Again, just going along as I go. I don't know what it's going to look like until I get it done. So that's that bit. Now the next thing is to weld these legs. I'm going to make the legs out of this chain. Obviously at the moment, it's all flexible. So I've got to weld each one, both sides, on the inside only. Trying not to make it curl as I do it. It's quite a lot to it. It's got thankfully a flat bench to do it on. And this, as you can probably see, is going to have to be a 2-part video. At the point I started this morning, I wanted to get this done. But looking at it now at this point, after this many hours, I'm hopelessly far away from getting this finished today. So it's going to be part 1 and part 2. Part 2 will be at the weekend. You can see that, and I will finish it completely. At least with the ability to stand the helmet on it and show it done. And after that, then I can lacquer it. I'm looking at some products. I'm going to try and thinking about some of these black acid etch products that make the metal look dark like iron. There's all sorts of things on the market. I'm going to have a good look at that, and I may not even do that until much later because I don't want to rush it. I want to make a really beautiful piece out of this. It's a sculpture and you may as well take your time. So that's enough chat, so wish me luck. Right, there we are. I hope you can get the the idea of that's what I'm trying to do. Little sprocket in the center there, just to space them and give them strength, because obviously quite long, tall legs, they're going to want some sort of stability, and I hope that's going to work quite well. Find a way of welding them invisibly, probably from underneath, you know, right in the corner of the tooth so you can't see it. Fantastic, really happy with this so far, but as ever with all these things, I bit off more than I can chew. It is now 10 to 4, I've been here since 9:30 this morning. This is becoming a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it's worth it because it's coming out a lot better than I thought it would be. I'm really happy with it so far. The plans that I had for this when I first started were quite simple and straightforward. As it is, I'm now going a little bit more sophisticated to make something a little bit nicer when it's done. Now, as far as the finish is concerned, I'm going to get to that at the end. In between, I've got 2 days off this week, today and tomorrow, and I'm doing this now, and I'm going to cut this now. I'm going to leave everything practically as it is, and I'm going to come back in tomorrow and finish this, get it done completely. Penny's home shortly, so I've got to get in, get the dinner on and whatnot. But in between time this evening, I'm going to have a little look at some finishes. There are some chemicals you can buy for steel that you can paint on them. It darkens it, make it look like iron. Some of you are already suggesting them in the comments underneath, but they're all out there. Can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm going to get something like that because the shiny steel looks great, it looks nice, but it's not the nicest look in the world. When something like this is all done, it wants to be uniform, all one colour, and look like kind of raw iron. That's the sort of thing I'm going for, so it's a really nice piece of sculpture. So there we are, I think that's enough chat. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow and get it finished. So thank you for all your kind support, I really appreciate it. This is a really enjoyable way to get back into skills, get back into practice, so I can get onto the fighter build, and with as far as practice is concerned, I'm going to hit the ground running with that and be able to go straight into it, start creating really good stuff straight away. At the moment, I'm rusty, and that's what this is all about. So there we are, thanks for watching, take it easy, ride safe, and I'll see you at the weekend for the rest of this.